Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Hope you guys are doing good. We've got some big business going on today. We are doing another mock draft. I figured it was time. It's been a couple weeks since the first one. I want to mix things up a little bit. So we're going to take a crack at a second mock draft version. This one's going to be a good amount different than the first one. In fact, I purposefully tried to not take any of the players twice. So all the players who were in version 1 are off limits in version 2 is basically the idea here. And we'll try to construct the best team that we can with the players that are remaining, just to mix things up a little bit, because I don't want to give the impression that I don't like my first mock anymore. It's not like I'm abandoning that mock for this one, but with these different versions of mock drafts, I'm trying to present different angles that we can take so that when we get to draft day, we understand all the different potential angles. And obviously, some of those angles are going to be eliminated in the coming weeks and months because of the combine, because of what other teams do, because of free agency. So let's just go and dive in here. First, real quick though, I gotta give a special shout out, a special little bit of attention to my Twitch channel, because tonight we are starting a brand new game, Hogwarts Legacy. This is a big one, people, and if you want to see me stream Hogwarts Legacy, come by tonight, a little after dinner. I should be getting underway. I know that early access opened up last night for console gamers, and early access for PC players is actually going to open up in an hour, but I'm not going to play it during the workday when nobody can come by, when I'm working too, by the way. So we're going to start tonight. Should be around 6:30, 7:30, something like that in all likelihood. And we're going to see what's up with this game. Hogwarts Legacy, come by and see it tonight. Okay. With that being said, mock draft version 2.0, it addresses many of the same needs as 1.0. Positionally, there's a lot of overlap. There is some new stuff here, but the main thing is you're addressing things in a slightly different order. You're using slightly different methods to get to a similar place. You're utilizing some of the information that you got from the Senior Bowl, because obviously that just adds more potential angles to look at the draft from. And I've arrived at a mock draft that I feel really good about. I feel as good about this one as I did the previous one. I'm not going to say I like it better or worse. As of right now, I can just say that it's different, and that as of right now, I like it. So let's go pick by pick here. Okay, Jalen Carter was my first pick at round 1, number 5. If you take a look at the way the draft is going right now, you've got 2 teams in the top 4 that need a quarterback. You've got the Texans and Colts. Almost definitely both are taking a quarterback. And then you got 2 teams that don't. The Bears have already basically said we're going to try to trade the pick, and whoever trades for that pick, almost definitely going to be a team that needs a quarterback. As long as the team that trades up is not in the top 5, if it's like the Panthers, the Raiders, the Falcons, you're going to see 3 quarterbacks go in the first round. I'm sorry, not the first round, the first 4 picks. So at that point, Arizona, it's up to them. Do they want Jalen Carter? Do they want Will Anderson? Or do they trade back with another team? And if they do trade back with another team, what does that team want to do? Does that team want Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, or are they trading up for Anthony Richardson, as silly as that seems to me? So the more trades that happen, the more likely it is we get a crack at least one of the top defensive prospects, Carter or Anderson. So I'm going to say we get Jalen Carter this time around. Really good defensive lineman, dominant prospect. One of the better defensive line prospects we've seen in a while. He's not Aaron Donald, but he's not terribly far off. And he single-handedly would make a lot of our defensive line issues go away. So that's a really strong start to this mock draft, obviously. And then in round 1, pick 20, our second first-round pick, we have Isaiah Foskey, the edge from Notre Dame. In my opinion, as of right now, I know Van Ness is rocketing up draft boards. I'm going to have to look at him a little bit more, try to figure that one out. As of right now, to me, Foskey is the second best edge in this class. And I don't think it's that close. I think he's basically in tier 2 of the edges by himself. And then you start getting into like the Nolan Smiths around tier 3, which would be end of first, top of second round type stuff. Foskey, Had a really nice career at Notre Dame. Well-rounded player. Should be somebody who can contribute immediately. It gives you some flexibility to say maybe, hey, this Alton Robinson thing is not working out. Let's just let him go. Or maybe you go, hey, Darrell Taylor, you had a nice year. We like some parts of you, but it's not enough. We're going to trade you for a 4th-round pick or something like that. And we're going to move on with this Isaiah Foskey guy who I think can be a more well-rounded defender of the NFL. So you're going to have to do something to make room for Foskey, but I don't think it would be that hard to do. I think that would be completely reasonable. And I think he makes your defense better. And at the end of the day, you can always use more edge players. You can always use more edge players. So even though I don't think edge is a huge need for the Seahawks at the moment, I'm not against using a top pick on one if I believe he's BPA there. Okay, round 2, we have John Michael Schmitz, the center who did really well at the Senior Bowl. He's clearly the best center in this draft. Frankly, if he does well at the Combine, he may end up being a 1st-round pick. He also showed some mobility that I wasn't sure about. It seems like he'll be able to play at the 2nd level in the pro game, and I think that John Michael Schmitz has kind of made himself to be the Cody Linderbaum of this class, where he's just kind of everything you want from a center. Maybe not that good yet, but we're getting close, and I think he can get there with the Combine. So John Michael Schmitz, Van Pran, who I actually drafted in my first mock draft, went back to college, so he's off the table now. So you've got Schmitz, you've got Whippler, you've got Avila. You're starting to run out of top quality centers in this class. So if you have the opportunity to get the best one at the top of round 2, I definitely think you should jump on it. So John Michael Schmitz at center. I think that he would make your offensive line, he would put your offensive line in a really good spot. And your 2nd round 2 pick, Henry To'oTo'o from Alabama, the linebacker. We're going to need at least one linebacker in this class. I fully believe that. Henry To'oTo'o is one of my favorites. After Trenton Simpson, he might be my favorite. He's quick. He should be pretty good in coverage. Should be able to cover a lot of ground in the NFL. There are concerns about his size, but at the end of the day, I'm kind of moving towards a place personally where I kind of feel like we're moving towards a league made up of smaller linebackers. And the bigger linebackers are going to get abused in coverage. So Henry To'oTo'o, while he does have some issues, I think that the issues he has are the issues that I would rather have than the Jordan Brooks issues. Where, yeah, don't get me wrong, Jordan Brooks is fast too, but he doesn't have the, I guess you would call it short area quickness to be great in coverage. And round 3, with the 1 round 3 pick the Seahawks have, I have Hendon Hooker, and this is where my mock draft here takes kind of a big deviation from the previous one. We're addressing the quarterback position. But Hendon Hooker is kind of a unique circumstance where he might be exactly what you want when you bring back Geno, because I do think we're going to bring back Geno. Everything we hear from the team right now is Geno's the guy. Geno's going to get re-signed. Geno's not even going to test free agency. But you can draft Hendon Hooker. If he falls to the 3rd round, which I think is very possible because of that injury he had, he's definitely going to have to sit for that 1st year because he's going to be recovering from the injury, and he's going to have to learn how to play in a pro-style offense, which he did not run in Tennessee at all. So you're going to look at giving him at least a year to get back to where he needs to be. So Geno, shorter-term contract, you move on from him after a year, Hooker's your guy. It's at least possible. Round 4, I have another linebacker because I think that's an area that we need to double dip in if possible. And this is another linebacker that a lot of Seahawks fans have really started to gravitate towards in recent times. It's DeMarvin Overshown from Texas. Again, this is not a great linebacker class, so people are trying to find creative solutions to the linebacker issue. You know, Trenton Simpson, most people like him. There's Ivan Pace, and he's definitely going to be part of my mocks in the future. And you have, like I said, Henry To'oTo'o I like. But then you start running into guys who are very polarizing. So Overshown is one of the guys who seems to be growing on people very quickly as we move towards the Combine. And I'm definitely intrigued. He's definitely an intriguing talent. So definitely open to that. In round 5, I have Chris Rodriguez Jr., the Kentucky Wildcat running back, played with Levis last year, or Levis. Little bit of power, little decent amount of speed. Definitely seems like he could complement Ken Walker well. That's basically what I'm looking for with this pick. I want somebody who can complement Ken Walker with his playing style. I want a power back, somebody who I can trust to pick up 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2. And Chris Rodriguez Jr. seems to me to be basically fitting that mold. A lot of people are talking about Deuce Vaughn. I kind of feel like Deuce Vaughn would be a little too small. I don't know if he runs with enough power. I want somebody I trust in short yardage, somebody I can trust to just slam it in between the tackles and pick up the yards that are there. And my other 5th round pick is TJ Bass, guard from Oregon. Obviously, Oregon, absolutely dominant running game these last couple of years. One of the most dominant offensive lines in the country in terms of both giving up sacks and running the ball, actually. And TJ Bass is definitely the guy you can get in this area of the draft. So, good guard depth. We need guard depth. We currently only have 2 guards on the roster, and one is Gabe Jackson. So, we definitely need to improve there. Round 6, I've got Moro Ojomo, big defensive lineman from Texas, another Texas guy. Somebody who, I mean, you notice in this draft I didn't do a lot to address the nose tackle spot, which is admittedly a weakness of this mock because it's hard to address nose tackle otherwise. But Moro Ojomo has a chance in this league to be productive regardless of what front you're running, even front, odd front. I think he can do well in both and should be quality depth. And final pick with our 7th round pick, which we do have, Jalen Cropper, receiver from Fresno State. Smaller guy, pretty good deep ball skills, but mostly good special teamer. He can return kicks and punts. And that's something that we're going to need to concern ourselves with going forward, especially the punts. All right, that's my second mock draft. Let me know what you guys think. Peace out. Go Hawks.